next speaker has another interesting story. And another accountant. Again, we're not just choosing accountants for some reason, but just turns out today we got a lot of accountants. Medy Camba. So quite a story, and she, like others, she started off as as an accounting clerk at Wrigley's many years ago. Worked her way up, different organizations, but staying for periods of longer periods of time. Ended up though with Fluor, or what used to be known as Fluor Daniel, now called just Fluor, one of the largest engineering companies in the world. I think in the top 3 or 4 or something like that. Within Philippines, if I understand, on a population basis, they are the largest engineering company here, and have done just fabulous work. I don't know how many thousands of employees these days, 2,500 people these days. Yes, and they won the Finance Group of the Year, I think it was, Agency Awards a few years ago, which is interesting why an engineering company would win a finance award. But Medy's group have become specialists within the region for project finance and other things. So in other words, Filipinos are flying around the region managing these huge billion-plus-dollar projects. Quite an exciting thing, and Philippines has become a global hub for this expertise, which is a very rare and very specialized area. So yeah, and as well, Medy is not only a CPA, I should say, but recently finished your law degree. Okay, I was taking a break. Oh, I said something wrong. It's okay. She's taking a break. Please welcome Medy Camba, Controller of Fluor Philippines, to the stage. Glad to have her. She's a nice gal. Lots of personality.
Oh my God, that's my reaction for a very gracious introduction. Mom, I'm also an accountant. My dream, I dreamt to become a teacher. I don't know whether it's good or bad. So, just like what Miss Agudo told us, there's no secret formula. Maybe it worked for me. I don't know whether it will work for you. And I felt so humble and felt so small, being only a controller of Fluor, while the other speakers are all CEOs, just like Ma'am Nina Agua. So I'm just a slave accountant of the company. I don't know, so please bear with me. I'll just share with you my story. Actually, Rebecca requested me to speak before you sometime last year, but I told her no. I'm nervous, and still I'm nervous today. I don't know why, because this is not a friendly territory. CEOs, people from different companies which are not familiar, as far as I'm concerned, only Specs is, because Specs are client in the Philippines. So I'll start my story. This is my family. As mentioned earlier, I wanted to become a teacher, but I ended up as a certified public accountant. And Richard preempted me. I am in my last subject in law school. And I hope to take the bar in October, so please don't look for my name. I'll hide. So, as mentioned, I'm not of the same league of all the CEOs who spoke earlier. I am the eldest of 9 children, so during those years, it's so hard for parents to send children to school. So I sold chocolates in school to be able to buy worksheets. So I don't know whether you'll be able to relate with me, but those accountants who are here, I sold chocolates in school to be able to at least augment the price of worksheets. Career, I rose from the rank. I was an inventory clerk at Wrigley's. I was 18 years old. So, and then I started as clerk, as mentioned. I held various positions in different companies. I was a cost accountant, financial account analyst, management accountant, and assistant manager, and then manager until I became a controller in one of the biggest companies in the Philippines. In my case, I'm lucky. I have a very supportive family. I have my mother who took care of my kids, their 3 kids. I was like a rabbit. I had 1 kid every year, so I have 3 kids, one after the other. So my boss even told me, when will you stop? Because I was married for 4 years, I already had 3 kids. So finally we decided to stop. having a yaya was never a problem because I have my family support with me. I had my brother, my sister, my in-laws. Although there were several of us in the family, I had never a problem with yayas. And my husband and I, we chose to live close to a place where schools are. We were there at Manjola. So I sent my two boys at the exclusive schools in Manjola and my girl to the other one. Actually, they only walked from our place to the school. So even if they forgot something, they can easily call and ask the yaya, please bring this to our school. So that was never a problem. They didn't have to wake up early. They woke up at 6 and they were already in school at 6:30, ready for classes at 7 and be home at, say, 2 o'clock. And our house, since we were very close to school, became the hideout and the headquarters of the boys and girls. So if you can imagine how much I spent for foods. So I didn't mind it for as long as I'll be able to see everybody. And it was good that I was working for a food company where I was able to buy seconds hot dogs, salami. So, and my God, and they were growing boys, so they ate a lot. And so when I was in that company, I was already the group manager, so I seldom attended PTA meetings, school conferences. So, but whenever I did, my children would jump for joy. And as if tumama sila sa loto, yay, si mama attend ng meeting. Oh, yun lang, big deal for them. So even my husband, so there were 3 of them, he always found time to have special bonding moment. So whenever he had time to pick up the kids, one kid, he would treat them to, say, Jollibee. We would take time to be able to be with them individually. So mag-isa lang, one-on-one. We always said rosary together. So they were in a Catholic school. So my kids, even if they were 6, 7, or 8 years old, they already learned the 5 mysteries for Catholics. So we said the rosary as a family during those years when they were still very small. We always went to Mass together. Until now, whenever we have time, we go to Mass together. My husband, or my ex-boyfriend, I call him my ex-boyfriend, he played tex, he played boxing, he played chess with my kids. In fact, we played with them. We took them to cultural center, they rode the bike, we ate breakfast there, even if we only had hot dogs or juice or bread. That's the simple breakfast we had. Quality time with kids. But we also celebrate and we punish. So whenever there was, the kids would be home with medals, with achievements. We celebrate. We went to Jollibee. That's celebration for us. But we also punish. Say, for example, one of my kids would break a plate or a glass. I would tell them, oh, that costs 10 pesos. So you have to subsidize the cost of the glassware. So I will tell them, oh, bawas baon, because I didn't give them so much money. Bawas baon, ma, how much is this? 10 pesos. So you'll pay 5, I'll pay 5. So, and the other day when I was able to break glasses, one of our glasses, my husband told me, oh, bawas baon, ha? So up to now, even if there are only 2 of us now at home because all of the kids have gotten married, he never forgot about the bawas baon. Since I mentioned home was close to school, they didn't have to wake up early, and my kids, luckily, they are all double coursers, meaning they finished 2 courses. During my career, I had to tidy my hands. One of those companies allowed me to be very familiar with operations. I could fully remember it was Noche Buena. I was at the poultry farm, because there were already several livestock which were already affected by pests. So I went there complete with high heels. So when I went to the cage of the chicken, I had to remove my high heels and walk. So if you could only imagine what I underwent during that time, and it was Noche Buena. So I had to sacrifice time with my family simply because of Call of Duty. I had varied experiences, small to big companies, local, multinational, family, big corporation, from manufacturing to services. So I had experience. My experiences are so varied that for me, working for Fluor is very simple compared to working for a manufacturing company. Mom can attest to that because in manufacturing company, you have inventories. In services, we only have labor and overhead. I also had the opportunity to work for a distressed company, a company which was restructuring with SEC. It was really very hard when you manage little fund, whereas in my present company, I'm very fortunate that it's a high earning company, so I don't have problems with funding. 14 years ago, I joined Fluor, as mentioned by Richard. It does not manufacture flour. It It only produces high caliber engineers. Mhm. We also have a branch in Cebu. There are about 500 and growing. Fluor provided me the opportunity to see the world, met my Phoenix and PAMA friends, and of course, meet you. Hope I'll be able to see you, meet you, and who knows, maybe in other forum we'll be able to see each other again. The Fluor Philippines, it was the first country outside of the US to implement SAP in 2003. And you might want to ask, why the Philippines? There are about 35 countries during that time, so why the Philippines? Because we Filipinos are very flexible. We Filipinos, we always follow instructions, we respect authority, so we didn't have choice. We were the guinea pigs that time. So during that time, all Fluor companies were on us, whether we would succeed or not. So luckily, we succeeded, and up to now, Fluor Philippines has always been the testing company when we were supposed to implement new system in Fluor. Now, as mentioned, we have about 2,500 strong employees. 1/3 of the employees are women, so because most of them are engineers. And in fact, we're constructing new building as Fluor continues to grow. Hopefully 3,000, 4,000. We're targeting more than double in the next 2 or 3 years. Sheila is smiling because Jay Joslang is our broker. In Fluor, what we call mentoring circles, and we have, I think, 20 mentoring circles, and I am one of the mentors. There we have at least 10 mentees with whom we teach and we share war stories to help the new leaders, the young leaders of the future. And again, we train new leaders. I can leave anytime because I have 2 or 3 people who are under with me who can easily be my substitute, assuming I leave or I retire and or transfer to another company. On a personal note, my husband and I, we give backpacks to indigent students or pupils in Laguna because that's where my province is. About 50 to 100 students, backpacks complete with school supplies and good grooming kits. I give this to families or mothers or fathers who won't be able to provide for those things whenever school opens in June. So without fail, at least every June, we provide those backpacks to pupils. I also am very active with Metrobank Foundation. Fluor has partnered with Metrobank Foundations. We have several scholars. I make sure that even if I am very busy with my load, I help choose scholars, the indigent, the financially incapable students, and I think we have produced a lot of engineers who are now with Fluor already. So at least we are able to help change the life of the scholars. In Fluor, we're so happy. I don't know whether you have heard about this. We have every other Friday is a Friday off, work-life balance. Oh, wow. How do you do that? In fact, this is the first week of the year wherein we will have 5 days because previously, last week, we had only 3 days because Monday was a holiday. So we went to work Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday was a Friday off. This Friday is a Friday on. Next week is a Friday off. So it works for us. It works for Fluor because most of the Fluor companies worldwide have every other Friday off. Again, Richard preempted me here. I am a law student. I have been taking up law for 6 long years. My God. Hopefully in March, I'll be able to pass my last subject. You would like to know. It's criminal law review. My God, so hard. You might want to ask why I am into law. Because my previous bosses would always want me to review contracts. I don't know anything about contracts. Maybe I can check the spelling. But as far as the context is concerned, my God, I don't know anything about it. And I have been always in the company of lawyers, being the controller of the office. I have lawyer friends, and I have lawyers as consultant, and they even kidded me that maybe in a year or two we won't be needing the services of those lawyers because I'll be the lawyer of the company. I don't know. So being a law student, my God, I only slept for 4 hours a day. I slept at 11. Well, I wake up at 3. But whenever my schedule permits, I watch Dream Dad and Forevermore. After office, my classes were being held after office or every Saturday or Sunday. This is my Fluor family. Sorry, nakalimutan ko na. This was when I implemented the SAP in the Middle East. It was a very scary experience because, remember, the Middle East, it's a place where women are not respected. I had to carry my own luggage. I had to make my own coffee when in the office, the janitor prepares the coffee for everybody, but for me, because I was a woman. So scary. So that's our new building. So I was with our CFO of the Fluor Corporation. One of the notes I got from my mentees. So it's really very fulfilling being a mentor of those young leaders. Still in love with my ex-boyfriend. Kikay po ako. Medyo romantic. I'm happily married for 38 years and counting. And according to my ex-boyfriend, when I become a lawyer, my first client would be him because I will be filing for legal separation. I am a farmer. Whenever my time permits, I also go to the farm. We have a small farm where we grow plants, veggies, animals. This was, I think, when we harvested palay. So yan, ako yan. And I also was at Luneta, one of the 6 million Filipinos who braved the rain. And we went there just to be able to be with the Pope. It was a very good experience for me. I was there. Tell you this story. My husband didn't want to go with me because he's not as excited as me. But being the ever supportive husband, so he had no choice but to be there with me. This photo was taken last Saturday. It was my birthday. I have 6 grandkids. Oh, it was a trending ba sa Facebook? Dami kasi nag-like. Ito, nakalimutan ko lang to. I had this experience from law school. When my professor asked us to memorize the lawyer's oath, it's the Article 3 in the Philippine Constitution. It has 22 sections and other subsections. I don't know whether there are other lawyers in this group. So I raised my hand, and my professor, yes, sir, can I be exempted from memorizing? Oh, there's no exception because this is a law class, so everybody has to memorize the Bill of Rights. My God, you know what I did? I had to paste the Bill of Rights inside the car, inside the room, inside the restroom, inside my bag, because I had to memorize Bill of Rights. And maybe a month later, it was my turn to memorize, to recite. Actually, the first round, my professor didn't call my name. So the second round, he called it. That was a week later, and he told me, Mrs. Camba, I'm sick, but I'm here because you would be reciting. I don't want you to blame me if you forget something. So I told him, no, sir, you can even go home now so that I can recite next time. No. So, cut long story short, I recited the Bill of Rights. I had been struggling, so maybe the professor felt that, oh, she's struggling, so he told me, okay, Mrs. Camba, continue reciting, I'll just go to the men's room. And then my classmate in front of me told me, Ate Meds, just follow me. So I was reciting after Jerome. I couldn't forget the name. So when my professor came back to the room, he said, oh, are you done? Yes, sir, because everybody clapped their hands. See, I told you, Mrs. Camba, you can do it. Yes, sir, I could do it. So I was able to recite Bill of Rights with the help of Jerome. And the next week, when I went to school, I had 2 boxes of empanada. I had several cans of Coke. And my classmates asked me, Ate Meds, why are you having blowout? Wala lang, type ko lang. See, maybe they understood that I was so happy, so thankful that I was able to recite Bill of Rights through their help. It was really very challenging, especially for me sometimes during lunchtime. I didn't go out. I didn't have lunch. Just like now, I didn't have lunch because I was nervous. I didn't have lunch because I had to digest cases. I had to memorize and even experience standing 1.5 hours because I wasn't able to recite. I wasn't able to answer the professor's question. So I am just like an ordinary student, but fortunately I have very supportive professors who are so supportive. Again, they would like me to finish and become at least a lawyer, CPA lawyer. Ang ganda pakinggan, di ba? Pero mahirap. And so hopefully God willing, I become a lawyer. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. So that's the story of my life. Thank you.